Hello guys and welcome back to another video. So I want to talk to you today about, I actually want to warn you that I think Palantir is going to be very scary in the next few months, maybe quarters. And of course, these are just my predictions, but I do want to share them with you. And I want to explain to you why I think this and what you can do with it, or what I'm going to do with it as a Palantir shareholder. And as always, if you like this content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button that is down below. And if you want to go even further and you want to have direct access to me and to all the valuations that we use on this channel, and you want to help a European survive the winter with the energy and electricity crisis that is here, that shit is real, I'm telling you, then check out the first link in the description box below, which will take you to our Patreon, where you can support the channel for $5 a month. So let's begin this video. So the whole market is crashing. And it's a funny stock that crashed the market today. It's actually FedEx that reported a super bad earnings miss. And they are seeing the economy rapidly worsening, and therefore they're actively lowering their guidance. Now, why is this random company so significant? It's because they are carrying the world economy basically. Every time you order online, or companies order samples and stuff like this, it all goes through FedEx. So obviously, if they see a huge slowdown, then that means that the economy is very rapidly worsening. And the other thing that is crashing the stock market is that the inflation number came in hotter than expected. And this is going to create a very interesting situation that I'm going to go in a bit. Oh, and by the way, I want to show you what the FedEx CEO said on Jim Cramer, so you can see how bad it is with your eyes. It's just a 1.5 minute video.
548 was the estimate for second. You're gonna come in at 275?
Well,
I mean, that's got to be more than just Asia.
They missed 50% on their EPS. So they thought they were going to have 500 million in profit, and they came in at 250. That's a huge miss. We are upset when Palantir misses by 1 or 2%.
Service.
No, we are seeing that the volume decline in every segment around the world, and so we just started our second quarter. The weekly numbers are not looking so good. So we just we just assume at this point that the economic conditions are not going to be good. But it basically allows us then to fully go into cost management mode and take those actions that we can then restructure FedEx in a different way.
Rosh, are we going to a worldwide recession?
Well, I'm not an economist, but
you know more than economists. Come on, they just push papers. You actually look at papers.
Well, I think so.
You think we are going to a worldwide recession?
I think so, but again, these numbers don't portend very well.
U.S. in the last few weeks as bad as China in the last few weeks.
Yeah, the U.S. Consumer has definitely spending less, but the U.S. has been somewhat insulated because the U.S. dollar is is the currency of choice for the world, and there's some insulation there. But I do see the U.S. is slowing down too.
This is the guy who's crashing the stock market today, and we can see why. So now, here's an interesting take that many people don't share with me. I think that we are bottoming out. And I want this to be on record. Of course, I might be completely wrong, but you know that the stock market is forward looking. The war has been priced in, the inflation has been priced in, the Fed rate hikes have been priced in. And I believe that for the market to go lower than the last bottom, there needs to be a significant event that happens, something like aliens visit us, or China attacks Taiwan, or some country completely defaults, or some huge company goes bankrupt, something that is very unlikely to happen. And many of the stocks, if you look at them, they seem to be in a bottoming phase. And I'm going to show you a few charts on what I mean. There's these stats that many YouTubers, when this whole thing began, were showing that the average bear market goes from 6 months to 1.5 years. And in this bear market, we are 1 year in on the indexes, and many early growth stocks is soon 2 years that we are in this mega bear market. And many of the growth stocks are 80, 70, 90%. I mean, in Palantir's case, I think we're soon on like 95% or 85% down. So there is not much more room to fall. The Nasdaq is down close to 30%. And, you know, an average bear market goes from 20 to, I can't remember the exact number, but it's like 40%. So it starts to be that if you start buying now, it's definitely, in my opinion, the wrong time to sell, because your downward risk, we are 30% down, and, you know, the max we can go down to is 40%. But your upward risk starts to be really, really, really good. Meaning that if we just go back to, if you would buy Nasdaq and Nasdaq would just go back to the earlier high, you would make 50% of your money. So you can lose 10% or gain 50% at this point, and it starts to be good odds. I want to show you certain stocks that I am thinking about. Google is not one of them. Let me make my head smaller. So here you can see that actually Google is not fitting this example because it did go lower than the June bottom. Let's look at Palantir. So you can see the angle at which Palantir was falling, and then this trend basically got broken, and we have been going sideways. We are close to the all-time lows on this stock, but in my opinion, we are not going to go below that. It's just my opinion. I'm also going to talk about what I would do if it goes below. You look at Tesla, it's the same. This was the June lows. We are higher from here. You look at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is very interesting because you know, it seems like it moves before the market does. So I tend to look at it to, you know, get a feel for the market. It's a very risk-on asset. And, you know, if Bitcoin is going up very big, it's a big chance that the market is going to open green. And you can see that it has been bottoming at this point here 1, 2, 3, 4, and soon 5 times. Ethereum also, this is the June bottom. Funny enough, gold has been falling, but I guess when you are doing quantitative tightening, it's very logical that gold starts falling. Here is Apple. You can see it's very far off from the June lows, and many stocks. I think Zoom is also a very good example. No, it's a bad example. I'm sorry. It's at the 52-week low. But you see, it's not really managing to go much lower. You have Teladoc here. The same thing. It created this low in May, and since 4 months, it's been around this level. Look at Coinbase. Same thing here. So I think I want this to be on record. We are in a bottoming out process. Here's the deal. This is why Palantir is going to be very scary, because what does all this have to do with Palantir? Inflation? Nothing. Palantir has no loans. It has a very high gross margin. They have very good money in the bank. They have zero chance of going bankrupt, and they are a rapidly growing business. The only discussion in the Palantir community is if they are growing fast enough or if the growth is slowing, but they are a very nicely growing company. The economic slowdown. Palantir is a problem-solving company, and when there is a lot of problems, it's kind of good for their business because they are there to solve problems. And when it's going good for everybody, it's kind of hard to sell them a solution to a problem that they don't even really have. So I think what is going to happen with Palantir is that it's going to hover around this 52-week low, but I don't think it's going to make a new 52-week low. I don't think that the market is going to fall below the June low. I also don't think that it's going to go up. I think that it's very likely that we're going to have a few years of, you know, like going sideways, and it's going to be very boring and very tough, and a lot of people are going to leave the market. Also, what happens in these times? This is what I was getting into, you know, when like what can you lose now? So if you time your entry correctly into the stocks, it doesn't have to be Palantir. Obviously, I'm buying Palantir. You know, you can have in the next few years when the market turns, you can have 100, 200, 300, 400% gain on your money if you're thinking in the long term, right? So investors currently that are selling, they're more worried about losing 20% than gaining the next 200 to 300%. And I think that that is a mistake. Even if we go lower, even if Palantir breaks this $6.8 resistance, how much lower can Palantir go? I don't think really there's room to go much lower. And this is basically a fantastic time to lower your cost basis. I recently bought 4,500 Palantir shares and I managed to bring my cost basis down to $8.85. And I'm very, very happy with it. If the stock would go lower, I would really see where I could get money so I could further lower my cost basis. So this is why I think Palantir is going to be very scary. But if you watch this channel and you watch other channels and you watch this interview that I even did videos about, this latest interview that Alex Karp did, does it look like he's a CEO who's in trouble and the company is doing bad? He was very confident, very uptone. He was giving very good answers to the investor. I really, really liked the interview and the stuff that he said there. You know, sometimes you can have companies that are doing good while the stock price is going down the toilet. And obviously, this is what I believe is the case with Palantir. And this is why I'm going to be using this time to lower my cost basis and acquire more of this fantastic company. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out the Patreon link if you haven't. And tomorrow I'm shooting the interview with CodeStrap. I'm so thankful that he's doing that interview with me. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned and I'll see you in those videos. Ciao, ciao.